Welcome back to Be Productive. I am so excited to bring on my guest for our next segment. We have Ingrid Perez with IBP Immigration Law. So, Ingrid, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited to have you here because when we talk about being productive, a big part of productivity is also making sure we have the right team in place. And as business owners, leaders, investors, we also need to make sure that we are being very proactive in our ability to bring on and retain the right workers. You do this a lot with investors, especially bringing in, people from other areas. And we're going to talk about some of the things that we need to keep in mind when we are bringing in, people from outside and how we can, again, be more purposeful and proactive in not just bringing in the right people, but also retaining that talent. So, talk to us from your level of expertise. What are some of the types of the investment visas that are out there that owners and investors should be aware of?
Sure, absolutely. So the one that comes to mind right away is a visa called an E2. And really what an E2 is an investor visa for eligible foreign nationals that have certain nationalities. And this visa allows them to invest in the US economy, open a business, whether it's a products business or a service business, and create a few jobs for American workers. In exchange for that investment in the US economy, the United States allows them to come to the United States with a visa where they can live and work on their business.
That's so incredible. And again, being able to again expand it on a more global level. So when somebody is looking at doing this, what type of an investment is required for the business owner?
So the law actually doesn't specify a minimum, right? What the law says that it needs to be a substantial investment. And that is really an analysis of the type of business you are hoping to open. So for example, if I'm opening a small cafe in Orlando, my budget and the minimum investment is going to be a lot different if I'm opening that same cafe in a city like Los Angeles or New York, where the costs are a lot higher. So you have to do this market analysis to figure out what is typical for that cafe in Orlando, right? What is the typical investment for that cafe in Orlando? So things that an investor would consider is the rent at the location, maybe the equipment, the furniture, the branding, the licenses, the inventory, the payroll, all of that goes into consideration when showing immigration that this amount is your investment into the US for this visa.
Yeah. That's incredible. And again, another reason why they should really look at working with an expert like you, because again, knowing these different ins and outs, with so many things, again, it's going to be very different city to city, state to state. So they need to make sure that, again, they are getting the guidance and knowledge from someone like you. What are some of the expectations for compliance that, investors, business owners, and leaders need to keep in mind?
Well, it's very important to make sure that your business licenses are up to date. When you're presenting a visa like this to immigration, a visa application for the E2 specifically, you want to make sure that the business is up and running, right? At the time that you file, you have to show that you are at a place where the moment you come to the United States, that business is operating and you're just going to step into the shoes of the manager. So making sure that the licenses are up to date, that anything else that you need as far as depending on your industry, right? For example, if you're in a food industry, you have to make sure that you have your licenses for that specific industry. If you are in the hair salon industry, right, you have to make sure that your employees, your workers have the necessary licenses to provide the services. That is really important. And another thing that investors, especially foreign investors, have to be aware of, that the United States has tax returns every year, right? We're coming up with the tax deadline right now. So making sure that payroll taxes are paid, local tax receipts, things like that, yearly tax returns are filed is incredibly important, especially looking forward to renewing that visa. The E2 is a type of visa that you can renew indefinitely as long as your business is operational. Making sure that your business is compliant is part of that.
Yeah. And, we started off the conversation, talking about this idea of being productive. And it sounds like so much of this is in the ability to be more proactive. Talk to me a little bit about, your level of expertise in guiding business owners and investors to be more proactive in their efforts to help them with all of these products and programs and being able to, again, have these key things in place.
Absolutely. I think for any investor, right? It's a challenging. Opening a business is difficult. It's a risk. Especially for a foreign investor, you're coming to a place where you may not know the language very well or the culture or the norms, right, of your market. So I tell people to educate themselves. It's really important to study your market. Make sure that this is a business that you are comfortable running, right? If you need education, you should have that as well because you're putting your investment, your savings, sometimes your life savings into this endeavor. It's really important that it goes really well. Another thing that I tell people also is that make investments that are actually meaningful for your business. For immigration, you have to show that your investment is at risk. You have to actually have purchased the equipment, rented the space, right? Or invested into a marketing campaign. Make sure that you educate yourself, that you're working with professionals that can really help you. That is really, really important. And I think that sometimes is difficult if you're a foreign national. Doing your homework ahead of time is key.
I love that. Fantastic. Well, Ingrid, tell us a little bit more about where, our viewers can find you. I know that you are, housed out of the Orlando area, but tell us a little bit more about your firm and how people can find you.
Sure. So the name of my firm is IBP Immigration Law. I'm located in Orlando, Florida. This is where I have my physical office. But I work with clients all over the world. I have clients from Europe, Africa, Canada, all over the United States, South America. Geographical bounds, it's okay for me because immigration is federal law. So it doesn't really matter where I am as long as I can help my clients. That's fine. If people want to reach out to me, they can go to my website ibplaw.com. They can find me on Instagram at ibplaw as well, and on LinkedIn by searching my name, Ingrid Perez.
Love it. Well, Ingrid, thank you so much. And for those of you that are following, again, make sure that you are thinking more globally. There are so many avenues to be able to help you grow your business and to be able to bring on the best team possible. And when you have all of these key ingredients in place, that's what's going to help you not only be, but stay productive. So stay tuned. We'll be right back for another segment after this.
Thank you.